Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judgmo. Chelsea are back to winning ways. Chelsea are fourth in the Premier League, 4 points behind Arsenal, 10 points behind the leaders, Liverpool. Chelsea shine without Lavia, without Enzo Fernandez, without Sancho. Finally, Enzo Maresca is utilizing his bench very well. He's utilizing the second fiddle players. Chalobah stars, without a shadow of a doubt, shows his level, showed that Chelsea should never have let him go, that they made a mistake. Cucurella scored a goal, which is fantastic for Chelsea. Neto on that left side was great, providing crosses and stuff. He wasn't like man of the match, but he was all right. Madueke responds to everyone that says that he can play. Having an assist and a goal is something that adding the GA to his tally. Wolves were a resilient team, but Chelsea showed them the levels at Stamford Bridge, back to winning ways, and everyone is happy at Chelsea. But why are Chelsea interested in Garnacho? We have no idea. Why do you want to offload Felix and bring Garnacho in? Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why Chelsea are doing these things. Vega now is reportedly he's done at Chelsea because Enzo Maresca said it's a tactical decision that he didn't include him in the team. So we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk to Dan. Shes is going to be joining us momentarily to talk about how this club has been run and also what's the aspiration for the club this season. Of course, they want to win the Conference League. They are still in the FA Cup. They want to win that one as well. So we'll talk to that about that. But we have Dan here for now. Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't. I didn't go last night, actually, but I'm over the moon with the result. We needed a win. I was actually a little bit concerned going into that game yesterday, considering how easy the Wolves game was at the beginning of the season when we beat them 6-2. Well, the second half was easy in that game, I guess, but I was concerned whether or not we'd turn up. But yeah, really good result. I don't think we were unbelievable, and I think we just got the job done. I actually think we looked like a team that was low on confidence, but managed to get a good win in the end.
For that low on confidence, I actually think there's a lot of players that are maybe Caicedo. How did you like? I'm going to start with Caicedo yesterday.
Yeah.
Because that midfield is a dilemma. It's a massive dilemma for Chelsea. That Dewsbury Hall, Enzo Fernandez, Lavia, Caicedo. How did you think Caicedo played yesterday?
I think Caicedo has become a really important for Chelsea in recent, well, probably this season. I think he's become one of the most important players on the pitch. I just think right now under Maresca, there's an awful lot being asked of him in that role. I just feel like he could really benefit off of someone sitting in alongside him just to kind of just free him up a bit and not have as much weight on his shoulders. I just think he's capable of doing a lot, but anyone needs help. It's always a useful sort of.
And that yesterday, of course, was Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, and Dewsbury Hall just isn't at the level for me. I don't think he had a bad.
Really, you still think yesterday that I thought he was electric?
I thought he was buzzing around, but I just think,
exactly. That's the whole point.
Defensively, he just doesn't want to be involved. I just think that is just not his game. So I think you can find a better player than obviously Dewsbury Hall as cover. I just think you can. And he obviously, when he attacked, don't get me wrong, he got involved. He obviously got the assist, which is a bit lucky, but he still got himself in the right place to get a knock onto the to Cucurella.
I thought yesterday Dewsbury Hall was
good. I think he was okay. I think.
Do you want honesty? I thought he provided more balance than Enzo Fernandez.
Really? I don't know. I think.
I'm not saying that Enzo's bad. Enzo's good.
We said this, me and a couple of other Chelsea fans early on, is that Dewsbury Hall, you can see the only thing that he has that's definitely better than Enzo is his ability to get around the pitch.
Yes.
And that is massive. And I think that's where the mistake is on Enzo, is that so much money has been spent on a player that actually finds it a little bit difficult to get around the pitch in the Premier League. But look, they're not problems
in the history then.
I don't think they're problems to get drawn down on and worried about. I think there are other issues in Chelsea's squad that concern me more than that midfield, because I think Caicedo can manage in that role and have someone around him. And okay,
I agree with you in parts. Number one, there is a massive difference in ability and technical ability between Enzo Fernandez and Dewsbury Hall. It's like day and night. And you can tell from the touch, from the passes, from everything, right? The only thing that Dewsbury Hall provides is that he's way more mobile than Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
Way more mobile. And because Cole Palmer is not going to contribute defensively as much, he's not going to run around the pitch, close down players and do this and that, you might need someone like Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, that's not to say Enzo doesn't run and cover ground, by the way, but Dewsbury Hall, I think, is more athletic than Enzo and does it with more ease.
Exactly, but that's the whole point. And I think between Cole Palmer and Caicedo, you need one in between them that will run around.
Yeah.
And cover. No, it's not.
Come on, you can't deny that Conor Gallagher was that role. I'm not saying Conor Gallagher was super important.
His technicality is nonsense.
No, okay. Yeah, okay. But I still think he suited that role.
Technical ability is Dewsbury Hall is better than him technically.
Yeah, no, he probably is actually, but I just don't think he's as good a player.
Yeah. I think that ship has sailed. I think, to be honest with you, that
it's gone. Of course, it's gone. I'm not saying
there are a lot of fans now.
And also, I'm not saying that he would have started every game.
I think Mineral still talk about Conor Gallagher.
Wait, sorry to interject. Is that news true from Prime that apparently Man United's representatives are going to Italy to speak to Dogu and Garnacho?
Yeah.
My heart is saved because I was very worried this could be a real deal.
I
do
think
so.
Be concerned.
I just want to have to say that.
Actually, you still should be concerned. I think you still should be concerned.
Yeah.
But that's the problem that me and Dan always talk about. Me and you, Chaz, we normally don't talk a lot Chelsea. We talk more Arsenal and other teams.
Yeah.
Me and Dan talk a lot of Chelsea. The problem is, it's how disjointed what the fans see from what the owners see. Why are these owners wanting to offload Felix and get Garnacho? Like, Milan already inquired, guys, about him. It's from Italy. If you go to Calcio Mercato, they already inquired about Joao Felix. And I'm like, okay, why Chelsea are looking at Garnacho and wanting to offload a better player while you have Neto, Madueke, Sancho as wingers? You don't need another winger. There is that young kid, what's his name, Tariq, whatever.
Tariq George.
It's better than Garnacho.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if he's.
I think Garnacho, he's still got good. This is the thing, yeah. Here's the thing. The bracket of player Chelsea are going for is similar to Mudryk. They're trying to replace Mudryk. Yeah. Whether Mudryk's good enough or not, we'll have to see. But they don't really rate him like that. And the situation doesn't help in terms of the drug allegations. So they're going for a player in this bracket. I am very led to believe this is a PSR, rub your back, you'll rub mine. Because why would we pay 60 million for a guy who's not even guaranteed to start over other positions we even need? We've been linked to centre back strongly by great links. We've been linked to some strikers by decent links, but yet we're going to pay 60 million a guy we don't even really need. So it
Well,
does.
you paid 60
I'm
million.
not going to put a conspiracy
Neto.
theory out there, but it does seem like you bought him out of us. You need help. We'll help you out. I don't. Maybe I could be. What's the word? There's a phrase where like some things actually look how they actually are, but you don't really believe it because it doesn't seem real. That kind of phrase. I forgot the word, but I feel like it'd be those kind of situations. But aside from that, it's not a good signing. I'm not jumping the bandwagon because all the Chelsea fans are like him because we all didn't like Duran and we all didn't like Samu. And
I haven't seen one Chelsea fan that says, "Okay, yeah, we need Garnacho."
I don't
no one
think
said it
it's
because
a case of
he's
needing
average.
him, but I don't think he's a bad player. He's only 20.
do
I don't get the United hate towards him. I get that he probably doesn't fit Amarim's system, but I've only watched him a few times and thought, I'm not sure about him. Most of the time I watch him, I think he gets around the pitch, he works hard, he's got that something special about him where he can just produce a moment of magic. I think you have to think about what other players have looked like at his age and how they've gone on to develop. And I think that's why Chelsea are interested, because I think if they buy him for around 50, 60 million, I think they'll believe that even at 24, his value will still be relatively the same. They won't lose money on him.
I completely disagree with you, bro.
What, you think?
I think Garnacho doesn't. I think Garnacho doesn't have anything special. I think Garnacho is not even a good player. Okay, that is the only thing that he did. There's a lot of other people that did bicycle kicks.
He scored like in big moments for Man United.
With all due respect, I really think Garnacho is levels below the Sanchos and the Maduekes and Netos and all of these people, bro. Garnacho doesn't have anything special at his locker. Nothing. No shooting, no creativity, no vision, no dribbling at all. By the way, he's not even that quick. You know that. He's not even that quick. He's not Mudryk quick.
No, but Mudryk quick is... Well, Mudryk quick might not even be legal, but the player that Chelsea are looking for doesn't have to be absolutely rapid because they already have players in the team.
But he doesn't have even the dribbling ability to actually get out of situations. Yeah, he doesn't.
Doing them a disservice here. I don't think he looks as bad as what we're saying. I don't. What I think is more important though is I think the level of player you could get for 60, 70 million, you could get a level above. Like I think. You could potentially tempt Newcastle to sell Anthony Gordon for like 70 towards 80 million.
Well, Anthony Gordon is not going to leave Newcastle to go to Chelsea, with all due respect.
All right, but he will if they don't get Champions League. I think he might. If not, he'll go Liverpool. But I just think there are better players and more proven players that you could get for a similar price.
That link to the Felix thing. I know that we want to talk about the game. The Felix thing. Why do they want to offload Felix after 6 months?
It's the same thing I spoke about before. These deals are not dodgy dealings; they're legal. It's all scratching backs. Felix, we needed to get rid of Conor Gallagher for PSR. Felix is a player they wanted in return. That's why the deal for Samu fell out, because something in between that deal messed up. So we found another player we could use, which is Felix. It's that simple. We didn't need him. No one wanted him. When we were offered him, all the Chelsea fans is, yeah, we'll take him, whatever. And it added to our attack that looks so great. And now in hindsight, you're like, Chelsea didn't really want to get him, really. It's just PSR.
The manager don't want to.
That's the correct answer. There's no other answer, Mo. There's actually no other. That's the
he's a good player, but you disagree with it or you agree with it?
Who, me?
Do you think Felix has a future if he stays at Chelsea?
No, not under Maresca.
Hey, yeah.
I think that's the most important thing here is that I think Maresca doesn't want him. And I've seen journalists write stories saying that Maresca was pretty much okay with the majority of the squad to work with, but Felix was the only one he questioned.
I completely disagree.
That was just as the January window was starting. I think there's probably a link towards Jorge Mendes as well, and just keeping an agent happy. They want to keep an agent on side. Jorge Mendes, he's very alert. Is obviously like a top agent. And I think
that tone, to be honest with you, maybe not you too, but the tone has changed. A lot of people said that Joao Felix will work at Chelsea. By the way, I think Joao Felix can work with these players. With people like Sancho, with people like Palmer. I think Joao Felix can work. I think he can provide a completely different option than what you have now. You don't have a Joao Felix on your team. Paul Palmer is a different player. I think if Joao Felix starts on the side, I think he provides something different than Sancho, than Madueke, than Neto, than all the wingers you have. Even if he starts on the side, which is he starts, sometimes he played for Portugal on the left wing when Leao wasn't on it. And I think he provides something that you don't have, which is he's direct. He's not a Sancho type player. He's looking to score. And that's what you don't have. I actually think that Joao Felix can be a very good asset for Chelsea. Very good asset for Chelsea. I don't know about the money situation because you paid money for him. Do you think you're going to get the same money? No, you won't. Milan are looking to do a Pulisic deal, which is like 25 million on installments. That's what they're looking to pay, 25, 30 million. You're going to lose money on him. And I disagree with this. I think Joao Felix, I think he's a compilation player, but I think if someone like Maresca can get the best out of him, and I think he can, because the games he played, he looked good. It's not like they're, huh?
Someone's question, Chance, why can't Felix play as a false 9 together with Palmer in the 10? And he has the
He
ability
can't. He can't.
I don't think he can because he doesn't hold on to the ball well enough. And false 9 has to be
Hold on.
Felix.
Who?
Felix.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He takes too many risks. He's a risk taker. You just said it
Yes.
yourself.
Lost the ball a lot yesterday.
Yeah,
So
he
let
does,
me
he does.
land my point. So what I'm saying is Felix is I wouldn't call him a luxury player because he's not that good to be a luxury player. But in terms of the way he plays, he's a luxury player because he's very risk-seeking. He's always looking to turn his defender. And as footballers, we know it doesn't work like that. You don't just every single time go for a nutmeg. It works. Yesterday, he lost the ball like 4 times. He only came on for like 15 minutes. So that's why he doesn't start, and that's why he doesn't play much games. It's as simple as that. If he was very secure on the ball like Jackson, if he had the same ability as if he had the same physicality as Jackson, but the skills he still had, he would start a lot more games. But he can't hold the ball like Jackson can.
He doesn't swim. We're missing the massive point here as well. He does not score goals. He is not a goal scorer. So you can't even begin to start him at false 9. Like he does.
No,
not
but I
score
feel
goals.
like you see how Odegaard, for example, he's not a prolific goal scorer, but he does other things to help other players.
Yeah,
Felix
no, I
could be
buy that,
right.
Chez, but we're talking about playing
Yeah.
him false 9. Like, if you're playing someone false 9, you're relying on them scoring a decent amount of goals. Look at someone like Firmino who played false 9. Like, he still put up numbers.
Yeah,
He's not
double
like
digits. A double digits
That's
number
what
of
I
goals
mean.
every season.
Felix is a great player, and I actually think technically he's probably right up there in the squad. I think Chez is right. I think he takes too many risks. I think that has to be in the Premier League. I don't think you can be that player necessarily, especially in a systematic approach like Enzo's. You need everyone to just be on job and be a little bit more robotic. And I think that's why he doesn't like a player like Felix. And I think he will be gone. If we take a loss on him, I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. Because if you take a loss on Felix, it's almost like, what was the point in... this isn't a Gallagher stand, but it's like, what's the point in making that money on Gallagher to then lose it on Felix? That just absolutely baffles me around the
PSR. It's just
but I don't know if it is PSR for Atletico Madrid.
It is. Come on, like just think about logically. Like Conor Gallagher was not going to stay no matter what happened.
No, I get that, Chez, right?
Like,
I get the Gallagher
they were
side
like
of things.
trying to find players,
but they wanted to unload Gallagher to make money on the books of a home, like because he's a homegrown player.
Yeah.
Then the money that they've made to get themselves into profit last season, they're now happy to lose this year by selling on.
Because the money. Here's the thing: the money you get from selling a homegrown, as you know, we all know this, is you can spend like 3 times the amount. So the point is that they don't mind losing out on
Chez,
Felix.
that's only worth doing if you can remain in profit from the amount that you gain.
Not necessarily.
Why?
Because he's not. We're not self-reliant on like individuals to be sold to buy players. We're not like other clubs like Man U, for example, who need to sell Garnacho.
We are.
I don't think we are.
The only way we've got around it is by selling assets of the club, as in the women's team and hotels.
Yeah, that's because like the amount.
If you look at Chelsea's revenue, the only way Chelsea have made money in recent years is by selling players.
Yeah, but you have to understand, like, this is the big. I'm saying that that's the beginning of when we started spending loads of money. That's the backlash of that.
No, so it's actually not. Our revenue as a club has been down since like.
No, I'm not talking about revenue. I'm not talking about revenue. I'm just saying that, like, one second.
What? What's going on? Guys, can we get to 100 likes, guys? Can we hit the like button, guys? This is underneath the live chat. Hit the like button. Get us to 100 likes. Guys, underneath the live chat. Can we get to 100 likes in the next 5 minutes? The like button is underneath the live chat. Let's get to 100 likes. You know what? Chelsea is the only club that turned us all into like accountants. And You know what? If I'm a Chelsea fan, I don't like it. If
I don't
Inter
like it
turn
because
me,
just stick to the football.
yeah, if Inter turn me into someone who tries to justify a deal here and there because of the money, I'm like, why? Why I'm sitting talking about the money here and there?
I
Why I
completely
can talk
agree,
about is my player good or not? Is Felix good or not in the team? It shouldn't be a PSR deal. Is Gallagher good enough or not? It's Vega. What is the point of signing Vega then? To make money of
So
him in 6 months?
I
It
I
doesn't make
actually
any sense.
I actually watched a video the other day, and I think someone has actually found. I don't think it's made sense to a lot of people, but I'll give him credit where it's due. I don't know if you know James Alcott, Mo. Do you know him?
James Alcott, yeah.
Yeah, right. So he released a video the other day saying why Garnacho to Chelsea is genius, and it gets a little bit complicated, and it's probably best to watch the whole video.
I've seen that video.
Have you seen it, Ches? Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
I think he's spot on with what he says. He basically says that the whole idea is that Chelsea buy these players at a younger age. They believe they'll keep their value till they hit their sort of peak sale price age, and they won't ever lose any money on all of these players. But the scattergun approach means that potentially, like every player here and there will become a Cole Palmer, and then eventually they'll build their 11 out of the ones that are really like prolific. And I think that actually is probably Chelsea's approach. By a constant sale approach of these players, they'll always be able to use the asset, benefit of them for a small amount of time, but they'll always keep the cash flow coming. And when you look at businesses, the whole business approach is businesses want cash flow. And that's what I think this approach exactly right. And what the whole idea is that for every player they sell, it then and they make a small amount of profit on the books. Not they might buy a player for 25 million, sell him for 25 million, but the book value means that they make 10 million pound profit at the end. For every 10 players they do that on, there's an extra 100 million available to then go and buy a bigger name. So it's a little bit complicated, and I actually suggest people go and watch the video because it's I think James is probably the first person publicly to really put it out there and probably hit the nail on the head. So yeah, Jack, Jack, I can see you in the comments, mate. Not everyone has an accounting degree. We're football fans. We're talking about football. Chelsea are the only club that are doing this right now. And Mo, you are spot on. No one wants to have to do accounting work when it comes to football transfers. We just want to enjoy and watch Chelsea getting back to the level they're going to be at, or they should be at, right? We don't want to have to, like you said, justify transfers and how much they cost. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's garbage, actually.
The flip side to what Devil's Advocate, because I agree with the flip side, which is obviously the continuity on the pitch is a bit of an issue. That's the only problem with the theory.
Yeah, but okay.
It works. It works.
Flip for profit, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Having a player like Vega training with the team for a whole preseason and getting integrated in the squad in the second team and inverted and playing left back and being the sub for Cucurella training with him every day. Then after 6 months, they're getting a new guy for him to practice with, to train with. Maresca works with these guys week in, week out. Every day he sits on the training pitch.
Vega's a bit of a different situation, though.
This is the same as Felix.
But Felix isn't going anywhere.
Felix, but that's what we're saying. You're not sure. You're not sure about that.
Unless we get, but here's the thing. I don't like correlation and causation. Maybe we're just going a bit too like black and white, like 1 and 2. Like maybe we are, like maybe it's not coincidental. Maybe it's just circumstance, and then we're piecing what we think to believe to be the truth, what we know from the accounting side, and then looking at the players and go, "Oh, this will make sense why they're doing this." I just generally think, the model is what James and what Dan just explained very clearly. Okay, buying and selling players.
It's flip for profit. FFP.
Survival of the fittest on the football pitch. If you're good, you'll stay. If you're not, you get sold. Win-win, right?
So trial and error. Sign the player, trial and error.
We're not going to talk about the footballing side. Forget the footballing side for a second, okay? That's just what they want to do. They believe that'll work. You build a great team, and then the filler players will keep rotating.
What about the stability?
Forget about that part. Forget about that part. So, for example, with Vega, because he wants to leave and play a different position, which is on him, that's been now blended in with look, they're just trying to buy and sell players immediately. I don't think their plan was to sell him within 6 months, in my opinion. They can get a lot more value out of him if he was here for a bit longer. Think about it. He's only been here for literally 6 months. The whole point of their model is to keep players for at least, like Dan said before, a decent period of time to get to the early peak or peak. Then you can sell them for more money. We just sold them within 6 months. That's barely any profit. So they're not going to keep a
No,
player in.
Chelsea will make profit actually on Vega.
They will.
No,
make
but I'm
profit
saying
on him. I know what
in
Chez is saying though.
comparison, in
If he
comparison to
had 2
keeping him here for at
seasons
least
under his
2
belt,
years,
he goes for more money.
come on.
Yeah.
We're using
agree
this
with that,
scenario
Chez.
going, therefore they want to get rid of players for 6 months. And then the Felix news comes out and it's confirmational bias. It's like,
But Chez,
Felix. Now,
do you
if
think
Felix
they're
goes
bothered
down,
though? I don't think they're bothered if he does go after 6 months, which is what concerns me.
I'm not either.
I'm not really, but it's like
Yeah.
that's another player that they've bought in. And now, but if you look at the summer transfer window, I think every player that coming in the summer transfer window is potentially already up for sale.
That's kind of mad, actually. By
If
the
it
way,
wasn't
the
for
way
injuries, Dewsbury Hall would be out the door.
it's the first time in the history someone does it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, what's the reasoning behind it? They've either made massive mistakes and they've already decided these players aren't good enough, or they don't suit the system, which worries me because why on earth did they hire Maresca if they didn't know what sort of system they wanted? But at the same time, they've either made massive mistakes or they believe they can make instant profit, but they won't make instant profit on Dewsbury Hall. They'll make instant profit on Tosin, probably instant profit on Vega, but not a lot, probably like 5 million. I don't think they'll get the money they want. And
hold on, why do you guys want Tosin gone? I don't understand. It's free players.
I saw a report, I saw a report that literally said what we're saying. They literally said Chelsea can find opportunities, like Tosin, for example, and the demand is that high where they can get 20, 30 million for a guy they got for free. They're going to do it. So
it's if their model is, isn't it?
With
no regard to the football, it's
I know, but the thing is, we can't do two extremes. Let's not do two extremes. Let's not go completely.
No, you can because there is a stability.
No.
Chez, you're not. You're smart. You're smart.
No, let me explain something to you then. Let me explain my thought process.
Hold on, stop. I want you to answer this. Yeah, Habibi, before you go on and explain it. Do you believe in stability in teams? Do you believe the more the teams stay together, the more cohesive they are, the better football on paper they should play? If Tosin is training with these guys, he's 26 years old and he's training with them. If he gets sold, number one, it makes the team unstable. Number two, it makes everyone in the club think, well, I can be sold tomorrow. Why would I give 100%? I can be, if these guys see an opportunity, he will sell me. Even if I'm good, even if I'm good enough, because Tosin is good enough for free. Tosin is actually a fantastic backup for centre back. He might not be the starting centre back. Liverpool would have Tosin as backup centre back. 100%. Everyone would have Tosin. That he's thinking, why I'm giving 100%? If these guys find an opportunity, I'll be sold tomorrow. That is not a good look. That is my point.
But you know what? There's so many talking points I can make here, but I'm going to go one by one. In my opinion, if it was me, I would still do the flipping, but I would have a solid 11 I trust in. That's what I would do.
I think that's their idea, though, Chez.
There we go, Dan. So if it was me today, and I got promoted to the board level today, after speaking with you two, I'll be advising them and using metrics. Where I'll say, you know what? Get this team a striker, another midfielder, a goalkeeper, and a defender, and you can still do your roulette on the side. And I think you'll still sustain a high level, and you can still do the what's it called, scattergun approach, dartboard. See if it lands.
Yeah.
So I'll do that on the side. I don't think their model is wrong. The problem with their model is they haven't sustained the first team enough. If Chelsea had bought a striker in the summer, a goalkeeper and defender, you wouldn't be hearing all this noise. Innit, Dan? You wouldn't hear it.
No, I worked out the other day, mate.
5 games ago,
signed 40
I swear
players,
down, Dan. 5 days ago,
only 7 have been potential guaranteed successes or like hits.
Exactly.
If you like. And,
like
and there's
Caicedo,
been like 20, yeah, exactly right. There's been 22 players that like everyone basically considered not good enough. And there's been about,
we don't really know or not.
There's been about 7, 8 that we were saying were like side dishes that are like almost good enough, or you don't know yet. Someone like Pedro Neto cost 60 million, scored 1 goal in 20 games. Like, what's he about? He's obviously a good player, but is he worth 60 million? You know, so we have to see. That's one with time that you understand. But other ones like, I mean, there's so many that we've signed that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Okay,
and I don't even know if they make profit on.
If they not more Caicedos, not 100 million, but if they just went, you know what, we need experience or we need better quality. Forget experience, we need better quality. Let's get a striker, a defender, goalkeeper in January last summer. You wouldn't be hearing the noise. 5 games ago, I wasn't hearing all this noise. It's a results-based business. So when things don't go right, people start looking internally and going, cool, now the summer window looks poor, like Mo said before. 5 games ago, I wasn't seeing this. For most
Okay,
of the
let's
half,
now talk about the
we had
football
half
then.
the season, Mo. We had half the season played. I'm on all. I listened, I read, I watched what it is, yeah? Didn't hear nothing. 5 games without wins. Everyone's accountants. Oh, look, in hindsight, this player, that's
I
how
never
it
did
works.
that counting. I never did that
Not
counting
you,
thing
not
for
you, not
Chelsea.
you, not you. I'm
Never.
just saying in general, the Chelsea fan base.
Forget Chelsea fans. Everyone in the last 5 games should have been talking about the football, not the transfers.
Well, I think
Because
they
Neto-
have, and I think the squad,
Why?
because the squad has proven, although there's the depth there isn't the quality. And then people start saying, well, hang on, why did we spend all this money in the summer and not bring in the level of quality that was required? And also, the way Chelsea are acting right now and the names that are being linked with moves away then starts creating all this talk, like you were saying a minute ago, Mo, because it doesn't make any sense why you'd buy all these players, bring in all these assets in the summer, and then be so willing to have them move on. As soon as you start hearing stories like Vega and Dewsbury Hall and Tosin could potentially move on, the same with João Felix, when they all just got here in 6 months. It's like, hang on a minute. What is going on with the sporting directors? Why is Trevor Chalobah banned in the summer, banished, and then he's the man they have to bring back? And you know what? We need to be careful not to spin that narrative towards a positive on the sporting directors, because I believe Trev is a level above a number of centre-backs at Chelsea, technically and defensively. And I actually, all right, the money was there to be made potentially on him as a homegrown player. But if it was only ever going to be a loan, I wouldn't have let him go. I would have just kept him at the club and benefited off of him at the end of the season when a transfer come. So it's not a positive that they bought him back. It's actually rewriting their wrongs.
To me, on the football wise, this is what Chelsea want. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I want to see this. I want to see a top goalkeeper and Sanchez be the backup, or Sold and Jorgensen be the backup. I want to see Levi Colwill and, for example, Amar Gay or somebody else above Tosin. And I want to see Chalobah and Tosin be the backup center backs. That's me in the summer, right? I want to see Reece James and Malo goes to right back, Cucurella and another left back there. I want to see in the central midfielder, I want to see Enzo Fernandez. Lavia should be gone, should be sold because he's injured again. You're going to repeat the Reece James mistakes. We're going to talk about that as well. I want to see Enzo Fernandez. You need to have a starting midfielder there or someone to rotate with Enzo, another DM, someone like a Baleba level, like next to Caicedo, a Baleba level. Baleba behind Caicedo, Cole Palmer ahead of them, maybe João Felix as a sub. On the left, Neto and Sancho, Madueke and another right winger and a striker. The problem with what I said, do you guys agree with what I said? Or there's another player that you guys want? That squad looks competitive enough. No, Baleba plays as a 6 for them. He's the last man in the midfield. He's what's his name? Ayari and the other guy play ahead of him. So they play Ayari and the other guy play ahead of him.
He's good.
So it's Ayari. Okay, so this is Baleba is actually the only guy that plays a lone 6, because Ayari in front of him, Joao Pedro and Welbeck back-to-back strikers. One is a false 9, one is a striker. Neto and Mente both sides. So they play 2 in the middle. Baleba would be phenomenal for Chelsea at the 6 because he can release Caicedo to play a little bit higher, and maybe sometimes Enzo. But that's one of my points. The difference is Lavia should have been that. Lavia is a phenomenal football player. Phenomenal football player. I'm never counting out him.
Directors will believe that they've got that player as a profile in the squad. I don't believe modern day.
But he has to be sold. No, you cannot give a manager. Dan, you cannot give a manager a player and tell him, I got you the profile. He's never available.
Yes, Mo, I completely get that, right? But I believe that a sporting director is going to say, I've signed that profile. When he gets questioned, when the sporting directors get questioned by the board and say, do we need another midfielder? Enzo's asking for another midfielder because Lavia is not available. They'll turn around and say, to protect their own jobs, I have signed that profile of player. We don't need that profile of player. And then they'll say, well, he's always injured. And they'll go, that's not my problem. I signed the right profile of player.
How is that not their problem?
Because they are protecting their own jobs and careers. I guarantee they're not going to turn around and say we need to spend another 70, 80 million on a profile of player we've already bought, because it will highlight.
Yeah, that I agree with.
Yeah, but hold on. But shouldn't it be the well-being of the club before my job?
No,
I am here.
Mo, that is not how Paul Whitstanley and Lawrence Stewart do not care, really. All right, that might be a little bit
okay.
harsh, but I don't.
So that's
think-
wrong then. But you agree that's wrong. It's not good.
No, because
Okay.
they're in. The problem with sporting directors is I think it blends the footballing world with the corporate world, and they are in a corporate job that they are solely reliant on their salary, their job, their livelihood is based around that role, their future career is based around the success they have in that role. They aren't going to highlight negatives on multi-million-pound assets that they've potentially made mistakes on. You wouldn't do that in any. You wouldn't go, oh, I've just dropped. If you worked in Tesco, you wouldn't drop a whole box of apples. You try and hide the fact you dropped the whole box of apples, right? Otherwise, your manager might have a go at you for wasting stock. They're technically doing the same thing on just a way higher level. And that's the issue. They're not going to sit there and say, sorry, boss, I need another 80 million, by the way, because the other 60 million I spent on that player, yeah, well, it's gone wrong. And now he's worth 25 million because he cannot stay fit. They're not going to do that.
Yeah,
They're just not going to do that.
it's a bit harsh, isn't it? Like, I'm not
It is
gonna...
harsh, but that is that.
No,
Chez,
no.
put
I'm
a
agreeing.
fan in that
with
role or an
you.
ex-player. I think you get a better sporting director. That's why I think someone like Petr Cech probably provided a lot of sense to someone who's a corporate woman like Marina, and I think that's why that probably was a good balance.
I
But I
agree
think
with you, Dan. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think a lot of
still think
Stuart
we
and a
should-
Witz
I am
family-
talking football. You're talking
Yeah,
about sporting directors.
Okay,
Please,
but that's the whole point here. I think the biggest issue at Chelsea right now, I genuinely think, is okay. Look, we're speaking about the football. I don't think the football is drastically bad right now. I think the sporting directors are the biggest concern at Chelsea right now.
Yes, because they keep making stupid decisions. You need a striker and you're linked to Garnacho. You're not trying to help yourself. If you want to do PR, don't be linked to Garnacho when you need a striker really badly. It's that simple. I think life's small margins in general. Small things can make a big difference. You just lost 5 games in a row, not lost, but haven't won in 5. You need certain players, and you're linked to Garnacho for 60 million to a club who needs the money. Doesn't help. That's why you get noise. If you want to control the narrative, and if you want to make the right decision in general, you need to be linked to players you actually need. That's the only reason why we're having this conversation. If we were linked to players, or we had really strong, like, transfer news about you wouldn't really hear much noise about the team in general. But you know what? They didn't get it in the summer. They linked to a striker this winter. Cool. Or they're linked to a goalkeeper. Or Jorgensen's been told he's going to get a start. But we're not hearing what we want to hear. And that's why the sporting directors have to take the brunt of it. Because you can't keep going season on season and keep looking at the manager when the sporting directors are making the decisions that the manager's impacted by, and we're not winning on the pitch. It's that simple. So all this footballing side, accounting side, it all leads back to one place at the end of the day: decision makers. So I don't really need to get annoyed about what's happening. I just look at the sporting directors and tell them, you know, you've got 2 weeks to 100% get me a forward, goal scoring forward, or a striker, whatever you want to choose. I don't care.
It's 8 days. That's fine. 9 days. You got 9 days to.
Well, cool. Regardless.
So you guys think you need a striker this window? 100%.
No, I don't
That's
really care
your
about
priority.
striker, goal scoring forward. So I don't really care if he plays left wing.
Exactly. You bring in a winger
like-
that can score
yeah.
15 goals a season. I'll take that as well.
15 goals is all we need. We don't need a lot. Like, our team
Because
is quite solid.
Jackson will still put up numbers between now and the end of the season, even though he's in a poor run of form. He still will put up some numbers. You just need someone else you can rely on as well as Cole Palmer to score goals and Jackson. Like if you brought in an Mbeumo, right? The guy's still capable of scoring a certain amount of goals. I'm not saying go and sign Mbeumo, but I'm just saying someone of a profile that is capable of scoring double-digit figures is something Chelsea need right now.
This I agree with, though.
We Chelsea fans are hypocrite. Our sporting directors wanted Samu or Duran in the summer. Same fans. We are linked to these players are not good enough.
Do you know what it was? In the summer, they weren't
I agree
needle
with that.
movers, though. They weren't needle movers. And I think as a fan base, we wanted to see players come in that we felt like moved the needle. If Osimhen had come in...
That's the point, though. The irony is that we think... The irony is we're having... I'm not backing them, but the argument is we're backing... We're having a go at them. And if we'd listened to the same people having a go at, we could have one player right here who could be putting us to second position.
Well, then what? Yeah, but I mean, okay, I get that.
That's
that
the
obviously...
argument.
Yeah, but then obviously at the time, Ches, like they obviously go and do the scouting. If they believed in the deal, they would have made it happen. Fans didn't break down the Omarodian deal. Something
No,
else went
100%.
wrong.
It wasn't. It wasn't the fans, but that's the point. It's like we want to trust them,
We,
and then
Ches,
when we
didn't want.
opportunity to, we don't. Just like
No,
doesn't
that's
make
not
sense.
true though, is it? Because we trusted them when they bought in Vega. We've trusted them when they've bought in players that we were questionable on,
Okay.
and they have worked sometimes. But they've also bought in a lot of players that have broken our trust, and we've looked at it and gone, "Why have you bought that player in for that amount of
I
money?"
think it's a bit different for players like Vega because they weren't positions were necessary. When it's come to positions like goalkeeper, defender, and striker, because we needed them so badly, everyone wanted someone well known or some sort of history. So when we were linked to these two, they had neither. That's why there was scrutiny. If Duran was doing what he was doing now, and we were linked with him, no one would say.
And by the way, you wouldn't have gotten him for the price you offered, or you were.
Yeah,
There
agreed
we
with.
go.
course,
That's the
right?
point. It makes it.
It's
It's the
people don't
image.
understand. They're like, we were
Yeah.
gonna get this guy for 40 million, but he wasn't at that time. He was 40 million. He's not the guy today. You're not gonna get the guy
No.
today for 40 million. You're
It's
gonna
more
get
about
him for
image, isn't it?
80,
It's about
70
image.
million. Yeah, like
But
in
ultimately, as
hindsight.
sporting directors, you have to ignore the noise.
And by the way,
and
the
you have to get
scouting
the
is
deal
not even
done.
great, guys, and you know that and that is the whole
I'm not
point. The
saying Alex is
scouting
great.
is not good. Yeah, anyway, it's not good. But if they go for Garnacho, they should get sacked. They're not gonna get sacked, my man. Just they're not gonna get sacked.
I don't
On
even
the
think we'll get him.
football, I don't think you'll get him at the end. On the football wise, I still look at Chelsea yesterday. I'm like, how without Enzo and Lavia, and you just looked good, and without Sancho, and you looked good. You looked okay. You looked better than the last 5 games.
False.
You're more resolute.
False.
Why?
We look
Why?
the same in the last 5
I
games.
think we look the same too, Ches.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
you
I
know-
don't
I'm
buy
not
it.
saying you
that we
don't
look-
watch Chelsea, man. Let me explain to you. We've played that game.
I do watch. I do
Was
watch.
the exact same game. I've seen 5 games in a row. Very, very the exact same. We do well first 20, is it? 20,
Yeah.
25. We fall off. The mentality goes. Sometimes we concede, sometimes we don't. We're guaranteed to
chances.
concede. We're guaranteed to concede after the break. And by the way, for context, in between those lulls, we're conceding chances and we're missing chances ourselves. It's end-to-end usually. It's happening against Fulham, Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, and yesterday. The only difference is yesterday, we didn't even miss much chances. I think we took every single chance we had.
Even the offside ones for Jackson, he took.
There we go. That's the difference.
Yeah, to be fair to him, his finishing actually looks all right yesterday,
Like,
didn't it?
I'm not even if we just won 1 out of our last 5 games or even 2 of them, we would be literally top or like joint second. We're not that playing that badly. Yes,
No, I
the
think we would have had to
the
win all of
manager
them.
can make
Ches,
some
to be top.
subs differences. Yes, he made good subs. He made them at the right time. Yes, the mentality is poor, but I don't think that should be the main reason why we should.
But let's be real here. Wolves, not that we haven't. We've played worse teams or level teams with Wolves like Ipswich, right? And Ipswich was just I think Ipswich actually, Ches, is probably the one game that might be the anomaly out of those that I think we're actually a level below. I don't think we were as good against Ipswich. I think that was a poor game. But all the other 4, I buy into what you're saying in the fact that we played a very similar way and we just didn't get the goals we needed. I just think that against teams that are better than that we're not going to win those games. And against teams that are a little bit more competitive than that Wolves side yesterday, I don't think we win that. I don't necessarily think we win that game comfortably, like a 3-1. I just don't buy into it. I still just think there are too many. I just think maybe there's a lack of quality in this Chelsea squad, or Enzo's system just isn't that great in the Premier League right now. I don't know what you think. I think at times it looks okay, but at times I think it's very easy for teams to get in the middle of his players and cause Chelsea issues.
Me preface this, yeah. Everybody can say this, so this isn't a Chelsea isolational point. But you saw the first 18 games when we had our first team, what we were doing. That's what I'd say.
But football doesn't work like this.
That's my point.
What
That's my
do you mean,
point.
Ches? Right? What do you mean by that?
So my
Because I
point
still
is,
see-
so sorry, Dan, you asked me a question.
I still see players available that I would consider in Chelsea's starting 11.
Yeah, so Christopher and all them, man. I hate you, but I feel like
No,
the
I
system
don't mean
can-
that. I mean players that are starting in that Wolves game yesterday, bar 1 or 2, I think are actually good enough to be starting.
just to start. I don't know. I don't think
If
so.
you look at Chelsea's squad, they are the best options available, bar 3 or 4 players yesterday.
I personally wouldn't play any of the right.
I think bar
I'd play
one player, which is
I'll
Dewsbury
play
Hall.
Palmer.
Put
No,
Enzo there.
I don't think Tosin. I don't think Dewsbury Hall. I don't think Noni probably gets into our starting 11, and I don't think
Tosin does either.
And I don't think Sanchez probably gets in. Like,
So
I
we
don't
just
know.
named like 6 players. That's my point. Like
Yeah.
if
That's
like,
where we
that's-
disagree, actually. I think Sanchez is your better goalkeeper. I think Tosin is good. Colwell might start, but I think Sanchez is better. Reece James, Dewsbury Hall for Lavia or Enzo, and Madueke is your best right winger at the current moment.
Nah,
Neto's
he's
not better
not.
than him.
I don't
He's
think
not,
he
He's your
is.
better right winger.
I'll be honest. Madueke yesterday, I actually was really disappointed in. I
he was
didn't think he
poor.
was that good.
He was
No,
poor.
honestly, I really didn't. And I
I
think
don't know
he
why
got
people keep saying
lucky
he had a good game.
to get a goal.
That
Yeah,
surprised me.
I
was-
just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I would rather start Neto and Sancho than have Madueke start games.
But I
Madueke
think
off the
people
bench
like
is
his-
exciting.
And I think people like his like persona and like the way he plays.
Yeah,
It looks
but
like
it's
he's
exciting, right? And in a
Yeah,
game
he's
that's
way more
open,
exciting and like it looks like he's putting in way more effort than he actually. But you can just tell when he's gave up a few times.
yeah.
Like, he tripped over the ball. He
Yeah, but
looked
we
up
all
in the air
know,
like,
Kez,
oh.
we all know he's got that, right? Like, and Maresca has publicly called him out 3 times already this season that
He did it
there is
yesterday.
yeah, so
Ugh.
he will call him out. Look, and he nicked that goal off Trev on his debut, which like just let Trev have that.
No, I like he did that though because it shows
Did
he really
you?
wants to impress.
Nah, come
I
I
on.
don't know
what you
why
mean.
I like
Completely
Madueke.
fine.
I'm someone who likes Madueke.
I like Noni. I think Noni's potential and Noni's ceiling with his raw ability could be unbelievable. I think it could be so high, but I just think there's an application that isn't always there.
You know what I'm hearing from you guys? Attitude, that he doesn't have the attitude
Well,
that is good enough.
That matters a lot though.
It does matter a lot.
But hold on, is that true though?
That's not. No, that's not. I don't.
Is
Think
that true?
No,
And
no,
you
I
guys
don't-
say it doesn't matter.
I
Is
never
that
said
true?
that
no.
attitude
Hang on, we
problem.
got to be.
I never said
You have
what
to.
attitude problem.
I
Yeah.
said from hearing you guys, he gave up, he does this, he gives
No,
up. he
I'm not
doesn't
saying it
do
like
this.
that.
No, hang on, mate.
You guys
gotta be
have
careful.
said,
No,
it's not, these are your
saying it in the
words.
perspective
These
of-
are
I'm saying
your
because-
words, not mine.
No, make it clear. I'm speaking in the
Yeah.
perspective of people said he had a great game.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I'm
agree.
coming from. That's why I mentioned the sign because you don't like give like there's a few times where he didn't track back and stuff. I'm not saying no one does that. Everyone does that on the pitch. Cool. But when you're not playing well and you're not delivering and then you do that, it doesn't help. And then people calling it saying you got a great game just because you
Yeah.
like,
Don't
Who do you
do
think
too
will
much.
have better output, Neto or
But
Madueke, if they
He
start
doesn't
on
have
the
an
right side
attitude. Though. I
consistently?
don't think he has an attitude.
You say, Mo?
Just
I don't know, Dan, about the attitude.
yeah,
I actually echoed what you guys said, not me. You guys kept saying that he
yes, but I
gives
don't
up.
think- Yeah, but what me and Ches, we're not saying that he's got an attitude problem because I don't think he does. I actually think he comes across as like a nice guy, and I think fans like him and they want to.
No,
like
I mean
Madueke.
attitude on the
do
pitch.
well. Yeah,
I mean
I don't
attitude on
think
the
it's that.
pitch.
I just think it's
Like
think it's
Raheem
like
Sterling for me is an attitude player on the pitch, not outside the pitch. He might be the nice guy outside the pitch.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
The
just think
word
it's like a
attitude on the pitch. I
frustration.
only talk about the football. The one that doesn't give everything, that cares for themselves on the pitch, that wants to be the star, for example,
Well,
or wants to be the difference maker. And there are some players like this. You know what I mean? Like Raheem
I
Sterling
hear
that
you, by
just
the way.
didn't work
I'm-
for the team.
maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we can fully label him as that, but I do hear what you're saying. I think there are at times Noni could apply himself to the cause a little bit better. I don't know if it's an
Yes.
attitude problem, but I do think he could just fight for the cause a little bit more at times and put his individual performance second to the team's result. Right? I think he could do that at times, but that's not to say he's got an attitude problem because I don't think he does. I think
On the
Noni
football
actually-
wise, you guys don't think that he provides more output than Sancho and Neto?
Nah, no,
At
I
the end,
actually,
output
I'm going to
matters.
be real here. Yesterday's goal, he's obviously got very lucky to get that goal.
Yeah.
I think Wolves, obviously, first game of the season, he got his hat trick, but the gap and the gap in between that to now, the output's been very limited. And I know his numbers look better for what they are, but I think we have to be real here that he isn't this reliant goal scoring winger wide player. He just isn't. I don't think you can rely on Noni Madueke to get you double digits every season, even if he does this season. I don't think it's reliable every season.
I think you guys are
unless you
so
start to see a more consistent approach from him week in, week out. I just don't think you can rely on Noni to do that.
So who's going to start on the right side? It's either Madueke or Neto. There's no
I'd
other
rather
one.
Neto. I would still rather Neto.
Same.
And that's strange
just
to
keep-
me, that.
I don't mind our
I like.
winger.
By the way, I like Neto. Actually, I think Neto suits the left, not the right side.
I feel like if our striker could do his job, the wing options would actually look that bad. It's because Jackson
Do you know
was
who
missing all his chances.
I genuinely think this, right, is that the perfect profile of winger Chelsea have at their club, although he can't now play, is Mudryk. I just don't think his output was good enough, but I think he has the pace, he has this ruthlessness, he has the ability to potentially score goals. I think that's why the fan base got behind Mudryk so much, but I think he becomes so frustrating that he wasn't doing that they then obviously... But I think there's times when I've seen that type of profile of winger would be perfect for us, but you have to go and buy that. That isn't Garnacho, by the way. And I don't know if Mudryk was ever going to develop into that player, and I don't think we'll ever know now. But that type of player, so, like Neto needs a little bit more to his game than what he's got to be putting up numbers. Because what's he got? Like 1 in 10 throughout his whole career. Sancho doesn't score goals and isn't exactly rapid. You need a blend of both of them together.
That's how we
The thing is,
if we had
I actually don't think.
Actually,
I don't.
Gordon,
I'm not sure.
Gordon is like that. I completely agree.
Yeah, I don't
Gordon...
know if Sancho will ever reach the level of Borussia Dortmund at Chelsea. I think Sancho might be sold because if he keeps. Okay, let me give you my explanation. If Sancho keep playing like this, I'm not saying he's playing bad. He's playing good, but just good. Sancho's not giving you the superstar that he was at Dortmund.
No,
Sancho's not giving you that level yet.
He was signed as an opportunity, though. You don't sign Sancho for 25 million, not as an opportunity.
Yeah, that's the thing. That opportunity cost. It doesn't cost a lot of money, so it doesn't really matter to us that much.
That's why I think that,
and that's exactly what James Walcott was saying. That's exactly what he was saying. You sign Sancho for 25, sell him for 25.
If Sancho, he's getting better, right, with Chelsea, but I think still he has been steady. If they get 40, 50 million, they might sell him. They might find it an opportunity to sell the guy.
Because you just said it yourself. He's not prolific. He's not great.
So he hasn't got him back to the level yet. So yes.
Exactly. So if we doubled our money on him, we're laughing because we can invest in another winger who could probably provide a bit more in product.
This is kind of a strange model that I don't understand.
It's not a strange model because you just said it yourself. He's not working. So why would you keep a player who's not working?
I never said it's not working. I said,
would you win it? My bad. You said
no. I never said that. I said it's steady.
You know
said
what I mean? Like provide. He's not the same level as Dortmund, which was a very high level Champions League, getting man of matches, turning up in big games. If he's not giving us that, but we're still able to flip him for double the money, we would definitely take that and invest it in someone who can maybe offer a bit more end products.
Do you believe you will win the league with Jadon Sancho as your starting winger at this level?
Not starting.
At this level.
Not starting, but what he does when he comes on the pitch, he does make a difference. Yes. He's made a lot. He's actually made a lot of difference in the games he's come on for, man. Even yesterday.
He does. I'm saying he does.
Yesterday, he occupied a bit more space on the left-hand side, which then freed up the right-hand side, which gave Noni that space to cross.
Here is the thing about Sancho. The way I view Sancho now, he dribbles, he looks good, he provides assists, he provides passes. But to win the Premier League, it's either you have amazing goal-scoring wingers or a striker that is the ilk of Isak or Haaland that will get you 25 goals plus. That's the only way. Because that's how you score a lot of goals, which is why when Arsenal 2 years ago scored that amount of goals, the wingers have to contribute. You don't have a lot of contributors in goals. So the wingers have to contribute, or you have to get an Isak or a Haaland. Are you going to get that? Even if you get John Duran, let's imagine you get John Duran. How many goals does John Duran get? 20 goals?
No, I don't want John Duran.
Who are you going to get? You can get
I'd rather get Delap. I'm not even going to lie.
You think Delap is going to be a 25 goals a season striker?
I don't think he'll get 20, but I think he'll get like 15.
And that's when you need a Martinelli of 2 seasons ago.
Jackson's
you know what I mean? 16, 17 goals.
Will play as the backup.
Yeah, right. I hear you.
Up front, you see? We just need
Jackson as a right. Hear me out on this. If Jackson as a backup, how many goals are you capable of scoring? Because Jackson in a full season playing every single game is probably a 15
as a backup 10 max. Not the
I think that
I feel like if he has less time,
drastically. I don't know.
I think one of the players if you play him less, he's going to be more efficient because he has less time to think about, and he has to be a bit more on it.
I
That's
know,
kinda,
I know
it's
what you
kinda
mean, by the way.
backward logic, but I hear it actually.
You
You
know
know
what
what I
I'm
He's
mean?
one of those players like
I hear
Sterling
it.
where you give him
Him
too
He
much
just
coming
time.
on
thinks
the
it too
pitch.
much.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why was your
Yeah.
side for that goal yesterday?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Him,
It's
him
like,
coming on the
true,
pitch
true.
for less time would have
Yeah.
less
It's just more.
chances,
You saying it's just more
less
instinct.
things to
You
do
just-
on the pitch. He
yeah.
will
Yes,
come with
he'll just
clear
think, oh, I have to
instructions.
score this.
Be on the
He'll-
pitch. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Be in the box. You don't have to do all the work outside. Like he's
Yeah,
being an
yeah,
option off the bench is less instructions, less things to do. So maybe that is the case.
Backwards logic, but I reckon it could work. We'll have to see. Like, whatever striker you bring in, he's not going to play.
But
'Cause
that
they-
is the problem with Chelsea now. You have so many wingers that are just good. No one is exceptional. And you have a
Yeah.
striker that is not scoring goals. And is the club going to go and fork 80 to 90 million pounds for Gyökeres, or you get an Osimhen, someone that can get 20 plus goals, 25 plus goals? We're yet to see that. I don't
Do you
believe
know
they're going to
what,
do
though?
it.
With
I don't
Chelsea,
believe Gyökeres. Gyökeres is 28. I
Yeah,
believe that Gyökeres is out of the question.
20 is he 28, not 26?
I think it's
Either
28.
way, like he's still obviously a little bit older than some of the profiles Chelsea will look at. I think he might be too old for Chelsea. I'm not sure, but
He's actually
if you-
26. He's
Okay.
about to be. If you get him in the summer, he's going to start the season as 27.
This
Will Chelsea fork the
team-
money for that?
absolutely, I think under Maresca in recent, definitely in the last sort of 2 months, I've seen an increase. I would say. I don't know if the stats definitely show that, but to my eyes, I think I've seen it. We are crossing the ball so much. Like we get to the half space, and if the option isn't there to potentially recycle or work the ball back round, they'll cross the ball. And most of the time, I feel like they cross it to no one. I genuinely think if you get a player in that is way more dominant in the air than what Jackson is, and is that
Like
type
who?
of profile, I think the profile
Chris
they were looking
Wood.
at is,
Chris Wood is
No.
out there.
do you know what? Not Chris Wood, but I think that's why they were looking at someone like Omarodian, because I think he suited that sort of profile. And I think someone like Neto would thrive with a player like that because he's always looking to put the ball in the box and look for the cross. And I think that would be something Chelsea would need. I don't think Chelsea go and sign a Chris Wood as informed as he is this season. They're never going to do that. But someone,
You know what the problem is with people that say 27, stop making them say 27 is prime. I actually agree. For clubs that aren't looking for profits and not looking for the money, if you want to compete now and win trophies, you go and sign the 27 years old striker. You give you a
think
good 4
Delap
years.
probably fits that profile a little bit.
Delap is very young.
Delap's also like very, very good in transition as well. He's caused
Yeah,
a
I
number
like
of teams problems.
I don't
getting
know
on the
why
ball.
Chelsea fans keep talking about transition-based football.
Well, because I'll tell you why they do.
Enzo Maresca is a position-based
yes,
coach.
Mo, I'll
He's
tell you
not
why.
transition.
This Chelsea side 100% look better when the game is more chaotic because there's a number of individuals in there that absolutely thrive in those
But
moments.
you know that the coach doesn't want that for
Yes,
sure, right?
I do
You
know.
coaches don't want that. Right?
Maresca sits there or stands there, and as soon as that happens, he's like, calm down, calm down.
Yeah,
slow
he
down,
needs
slow
more
down."
passes. He
But-
needs to control the game.
Yes. But I actually think I think Maresca will find this eventually if he's switched on enough, right? That you can make those transitions part of his game and have it for 10 minutes to allow the players to open the game up and potentially cause a bit of chaos and then control the chaos and slow it back down. And I'll tell you a game that we did that really well in, Tottenham. We went 2-0 down. The game was chaotic. It was open. We were actually probably losing that game because of that. He slowed the game down, got back control. We got back on top of that game. And then actually towards the end, it opened up a little bit again. But there's a number of games where we've seen Maresca almost control the chaos. And I think that's the best way to go about it. Poch wanted chaos non-stop. Maresca wants a control base. I think the way this squad's been put together, you need to find a blend of the two. And I think he's done that. And West Ham is a great shout. West Ham game's another great shout, actually, where we controlled the chaos. At times, we're just on top. We're playing the ball slowly with patience, being conservative, looking for that perfect opportunity. But at times, players like Cole Palmer, Neto, you see them break. And they're out.
Let me
Can I
tell
ju-
you this, though,
Go ahead, go ahead.
is that with all those games, we were clinical. That's the difference.
That is true,
Tottenham
Chelsea.
game-
I
The
think
Tottenham
that is
game,
true.
Tottenham game, actually, maybe not. That's the anomaly, though. But most games that we've won, we're actually very, very clinical. We just take, even the Wolves game.
Yeah, the Wolves game. But the
we
first
literally
half
know-
wasn't, was it? If you
The
think about
first
it.
half was poor. And then even the Bournemouth game, one chance we had,
Yeah.
literally one chance, we scored it. The Wolves game, Noni on his right foot scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
or two. Like he doesn't do that. Like he's just a bit more clinical. So for me, if we added that clinical nature to our team, if we had like just anybody who could be a bit more like harsh up front, we'd be in a lot better
That's true.
position.
You do. You need to remove.
Even despite the lack of experience, the lack of goalkeeping, the lack of defensive-minded midfielders right now in terms of squad depth, I still think we'd be easily second in the league. Easily.
I
It's
don't
not a
know
lot for this
because
team.
as much
I
as
feel,
you
like,
go
I
on,
feel like we would be, in my opinion.
but
By the way,
okay.
you saying that Arsenal would say, well, if we scored the chances we create, we would have been top.
No,
of the
but Mo,
league.
the difference is this: our performances have not matched the results. They haven't. Whereas the Arsenal performances have matched the results. They haven't performed well. They haven't really created a lot of chances. They missed a lot of chances.
But you haven't
It adds
performed
up.
better than Arsenal this
Chelsea,
season. You're not
have
saying.
shown no, but one set, Mo. Chelsea
You aren't
have shown,
saying that because
no,
what you say that you're performing because you want to be. You say if we convert our chances, we should be second. That means you should be second. That
no,
you're
no,
the
but we've
best.
already
You're
shown
the
this
second best team in the league.
No, but you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. We've already shown this season we can be clinical with the same players. Arsenal haven't shown that at all. Havertz has never been clinical for Arsenal. Never. He scored a purple patch towards the end of last season, but this season particularly,
So is at the current moment. So is Jackson.
Jackson for half the season had like 9 goals in like 11 games.
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
Jackson was clinical to start the season.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And Havertz was in the second part of the
clinical against Arsenal. Look,
in the second part of the
season
season last season. Havertz was clinical for. He scored 14 goals.
Yeah, he probably was considered clinical. Ches, he was scoring a
So
lot.
Maybe
if
he's
you're gonna
your
call
example.
Jackson a purple, if you're gonna call Havertz a purple,
hang on, that actually, Mo, saying what you said about Havertz, where he was considered clinical, it's actually what Ches is saying is right for both teams here. Is that both teams are in dire need of someone that is consistently clinical. These players have had purple patches where they have been, but they need someone who is capable of doing that. Look, that's a hot commodity. Maybe with players like Haaland have actually like sort of thrown our minds to suggest that players can be that clinical that often, but at least a 20 goal a season striker is something that these teams both need. I think
Which
that's
is difficult to get. I get it. Like, it's not easy.
By the way, there is not a lot of these. There is not a lot of these.
Especially now.
It's not easy to get, but
it's easier to get a goal scoring winger. It's easier to get a goal scoring winger.
No, actually is.
Why did I say earlier scoring forward? That's why I said forward.
Garnacho then.
I genuinely think Garnacho in our team.
You cannot deny, Ches, right? Even without the clinical striker, and I've been saying this all season, Chelsea have an issue defensively. Whatever it is,
we can't keep clean sheets.
We cannot keep a clean sheet. And the saying is as old as time: attack wins you matches, defense wins you titles. And our defense is not good enough. We concede week in, week out. We don't keep clean sheets. I don't know whether that's tactically, because I think at times Maresca's system highlights flaws in the side. And I also think individual errors have been a massive part of this season.
I feel like
that comes down to quality.
But if you had to point a gun to my head and tell me which one, I think it's individual errors.
Individual errors is probably like if you had, the pie chart that they did, like the
if you had a pie chart, like
errors is going to be like 70%,
70% individual, like 20% tactic, and that 10% like anomalies,
like
no, I completely disagree with you guys on this, and I spoke to Dan and she's about.
Maresca's a bigger pie.
I think it's a 50% in tactical thing, and I think he puts the defenders in a place to make mistakes, to be dribbled one-on-one, to be isolated on the sides. I think normally in football you don't want to be put in these situations.
But Van Dijk is trusted.
Also, let me add. Here we go. You don't have Van Dijk. You don't play the way that Van Dijk plays. Like you don't. If I don't have a Van Dijk, I don't build the plan as I have a Van Dijk. If I have
what bugs me.
Yeah, but you don't change your system for the personnel. You get
absolutely you do.
Chess, right? Hang on, hang on. Wait, wait, Mo. Hang on.
Bullshit.
Mo, no, wait. Hang on, Mo, wait, because I actually think
rubbish. He's speaking rubbish.
No, he's not. But I think we might actually find out something here, right? Ches, like, how old are you?
I don't overly disagree, by the way.
How old are you,
Ches? I'm putting it out there.
Are you like young 20? 25? All right, right. I think you're of a generation where you believe.
He's old. He's not a kid. This guy's not a kid.
No, I'm not saying
I'm not a child.
No, but I think
kid,
no.
Bro.
Hang on, Mo. Hang on.
This guy is 20, bro. He's seen.
Mo, let me land. Right, let me land because hear me out on this. I think Ches's age and younger believe, like as a whole, the younger fan base believe that you don't change the system for the personnel. But Mo, we've seen managers, right,
Pushing 30.
do different, right? Yeah, I'm getting close to 30, but
Hey, I'm not
we've
pushing
seen
30 yet.
managers.
Don't speak to me like that. Allow it.
No, but we've seen managers, right, of another era, Mo, who are willing to change their system to make sure they get results. And I think that's the difference, right? This modern day systematic manager, they are not willing to do that, Mo. They don't want to change their system. But that's why managers like Iraola, they absolutely thrive because they're willing to be a little bit more pragmatic.
Yeah. Listen, what? Why do I feel like she said something out of the ordinary? To be honest,
I didn't.
At this current time when you are chasing top 4, when you don't have that ilk of players, the John Terrys, the Van Dijks, the Drogbas, you change your system because
the modern that just doesn't, that isn't the modern day.
I say it's wrong. I think
it's wrong too, but
I think it's wrong, bro.
Ches doesn't think it's wrong because that's how Ches has formed his belief from that era of players.
Let me give you a simple example because Ches has to go now, guys. Chez's channel is in the description. Go and subscribe to Ches. Let me ask you, Ches, a question. If you don't have tall center backs, do you believe you should allow the opposition to keep crossing the ball?
Listen, you and Dan think I'm stupid.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
No,
Ches. I think I don't.
I know I'm being a bit
cool.
pedantic. I know you know things. I'm just saying, like, I know what you mean. I'm just staying quiet because I'm listening. Like, I know what you mean. You have to adapt to the players you have. I'm not that naive. I'm just saying that at the same time, if you believe the players you have aren't of quality, you would hope to keep your system in place and then change those players you don't believe could fit it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear that.
Anyway, I know you gotta go now.
Day approach. That is 100%.
Yeah, especially if your board is like Chelsea, who always buy players. Like, why would he change it to for then next month they can get a new centre back like Chalobah? Who Chalobah looks like, even from one game, he very much suits our system. So if he helps us get top 4 in the trophy.
By the way, Chalobah's gonna make a couple of mistakes. He made them for Crystal Palace. He made them for Chelsea.
The way he's way more comfortable on the ball. He's strong. He's quick. He's got a good height.
And
better recovery.
Like, he just gets it, doesn't he?
Like
think
him
about it.
He's a good part. And James as well. I think that back 4 is quite balanced.
Yeah,
like,
I actually thought that yesterday. To be fair,
so no. I'm not saying because it's Wolves. We had that.
It is balanced because Tosin provides experience. Chalobah, actually, people don't understand that Chalobah is an experienced defender. He has a lot of games under his belt. Actually, people think that Chalobah is a young defender. He's not. He's actually someone. We'll see. He will get this. I know you gotta go, Ches. So appreciate you, buddy. We'll keep going, guys. Yes. Yes.
Well.
Yeah, go on, sweet Ches.
Yeah. The last part is that where do you think Chelsea can finish actually this season? The last part of the show. Guys, can I ask you guys something? Can we get live at least 150 likes or 200 likes? We got over 200 people watching regularly, and there's at least 100 of you that haven't hit that like button. Hit the like button, support the channel, guys. 150 likes is the minimum for this show. The Chelsea show, I know there's a lot of people that say, oh yeah, why do you always speak about Arsenal? Well, always, every time we have spoken about Arsenal, we're about to mention them. Go ahead, Ted.
In terms of where I think Chelsea can finish, I believe everything clicks back into place. We start playing like we were. Top 4 is possible. Bring in an addition between now and the end of bring in an addition now between now and the end of January transfer window. That is actually a needle mover. I think you cement if we can start to really put a good run of results together again. But part of me just thinks that Manchester City have done too much, and I don't see Forest dropping out.
You are 4 points behind Arsenal, not in Forest.
I don't see Arsenal dropping out of the top 4. I don't see Liverpool dropping out, obviously.
Of course.
I don't think right now I see Nottingham Forest dropping out.
Going anywhere. Yeah.
I think they've got so much momentum.
We got 8 games, I think, non-losing streak or something like this, winning 7 out of 8. Only no, they lost to Liverpool.
No,
they drew Liverpool.
Drew.
Even
they've
that.
Not lost to Liverpool.
So actually, they won 7 and drew 1.
Yeah, they're 8 games without a loss, I think. Maybe more.
It's crazy.
I don't see them dropping out of the top 4 right now. they're not. Look, the name of the team is actually massive, but like people go, "Oh, Forest, they're in a relegation battle. Like they're going to fall off. They're going to fall off." If I look at the facts, I don't see it right now. If Chris Wood stops scoring goals, then I think there's a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
They're trying right now. They're trying to buy Wissa from Brentford as well to replace Awoniyi. So if they get him in, that's another good player. I think they've got a very good squad. They've got a manager in Nuno who's very pragmatic. That I think, Nuno's the type of manager you're speaking about, Mo. Where if his system doesn't allow him to play, if his personnel,
he's very adaptable, guy.
Exactly right. And I think actually we're starting to see the return of adaptable, pragmatic managers thriving in the Premier League because these systematic managers are so naive, like Ange, like Arteta, like Maresca. They do drop points based around not wanting to tweak their system, that these other managers take advantage of it. Managers like Iraola, managers like Marco Silva. They got teams with way less budget, way worse teams getting results against bigger teams. Look at Newcastle. Bournemouth, down to the bare bones, win 4-1 at St. James's Park. Who saw that coming? So I think
it's a fantastic team, to be honest.
Exactly, they are. And the manager's pragmatic and happy to have his team play in different ways to get results.
What about Villa? Why are we ruling out Villa? Why no one speaks about Villa? By the way, thank you so much for the comment. Man City are fucking on a spending spree, and this is fucking crazy
as well. I've looked at
Marmoush is 26, yeah.
No, okay, bar Marmoush, because I think Marmoush is for that now. These kids, this is very similar to Chelsea's recruitment. Don't you think?
No, Man City don't do that.
No, I think they do. They're doing it now.
They don't flip for profit. Man City don't flip. 30 million for a kid. No, this is for the future.
But that kid at 19, by the time he reaches 24, they won't have lost any money on whether he's a hit or a miss.
100%.
And that is why I think Chelsea are doing very similar deals. I think they're looking at South Americans, they're looking at the best young talent, and they're bringing it in. They're not bringing it in for today because they probably still believe the core of their squad is still okay, and they just need a couple of additions. But for the rebuild, they're going young, aren't they? These players are incredibly young compared to the rest of their squad.
Yeah. Going to Aston Villa, goes back to Aston Villa, like, why do we rule him out? Because
I'm not ruling Villa out, but I do think Chelsea have a better chance of getting top 4 than Villa this season.
Because
I just think there's been a point this season where Chelsea have looked better than Villa, and I hope that we return to that. And that's without January transfers. I think Ollie Watkins has had a poor season. I think he was massive for them last season.
But he's clutch. That's the difference between him and the rest.
I don't
like when you need Ollie Watkins, he pops up.
Yes and no. At times he hasn't, but they obviously just got a good draw against Arsenal. Last season, I think he was really clutch, Watkins. But
that's that point against Arsenal is what is that Ollie Watkins is about.
Yeah, but this exactly. But he hasn't been about it for the full season. By the 20 games in now, you'd have hoped Ollie Watkins had more goals than what he's on. Duran has had to be clutch for Villa in certain moments this season. Duran's gone a little bit quiet in recent weeks. I think since that sending off, I don't know. He hasn't obviously played as many games, and he's sort of getting himself back into the flow of things. I'm not sure I see it with Villa being as good as they were last season. I still think they're a threat, but I just think that they will probably end up being 5th, 6th. They've still got Champions League to worry about.
Ollie Watkins still have 14 GA, 10 goals and 4 assists.
Okay. 1 in 2. Let's not do anything. A 1 in 2 striker is still very good.
It's very good in this day and age.
What he finished, last season he probably finished around that as well, didn't he? In the end,
20 something. No, it's 20
more. You think more? Yeah, but how many games? 50 games more.
Yeah, he played way more last season. Ollie Watkins, he played way more.
I just think Villa on the back of their Champions League games, their results.
No, he had 19, so he is on course to get the same number of goals.
Okay, fair enough. I just don't feel like maybe then that just says more about the actual team, that Villa themselves have suffered.
Emery has changed completely.
Yes, which he's done everywhere he's been.
Emery last season, when he played any team, he tried to have position. Lately, he hasn't. He's like, whatever. But anyway, he's like, whatever. I know
Is that him trying to be more pragmatic as well? Are we seeing even someone like Unai Emery trying to
because he wants results.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to risk it. He wants results. Because it's unacceptable for Villa for go to last season to be like 9s or 8s. That's unacceptable. No matter what the circumstances are. It's unacceptable.
no,
It's just
100%.
simply unacceptable. You can't go from 4s to 9s. This is why Eddie Howe was under pressure. Because
And
Newcastle finished in the Champions League and then they finished 10th. And they're like, okay, going again, regression means you're under pressure. At any
100%.
club, by the way, at any club that is calling themselves a competitive club, regression, even at Brighton, when what's his name, De Zerbi regressed, he was under pressure.
Yeah.
Even though he played great football. And I believe that
as not a smaller club, because Villa,
even if you do, by the way, even if you do, I believe if Northern Forest get Champions League this season and we see them next season going to be bottom half of the table, Nuno Espirito Santo will be under pressure. I'm not saying he's gonna get sacked.
Even Maresca, right? Maresca's had his team second in the Premier League, and now he obviously has just got that first win in 6 games. But in that 5 matches, there was a lot of question marks about whether or not he was actually going to be good enough to lead Chelsea forwards, because he'd already shown that he could get this Chelsea side playing better football than what they were doing. This is why I think some managers are actually afraid of overachieving, because it almost creates the Arteta effect, where you're considered better than what you actually are, but then it applies too much pressure in the seasons going ahead. If you actually think about the Arsenal sort of trajectory, what they should have been on rather than where they overachieved, they're probably really on course in terms of how their squad's been being built and developed, but they were just overachieving the first 2 seasons before they'd even probably built out their whole team. You think that first season, no one expected them to be where they were.
Yeah, they were 5th before. People said they are not even going to get Champions League.
Maybe Maresca's controlling expectations, and if he can get his team in and around 4th place, he's not going to apply too much pressure to himself. No, you never know.
Probably.
But
Guys,
interesting one quickly, because I know you want to wrap it up, but this Chelsea team, average age 23.7 years as a squad. Chelsea's team in 03-04, when they finished second behind, I think, Arsenal, just as they were going on the next season to win the Premier League, 23 years, 0.7, when they'd signed Lampard and Joe Cole and Robben and Duff, all those players, that's where they were at. So makes you wonder, doesn't it? It's food for thought if they're trying to build something similar.
Yeah, but that means they have to sack Maresca and get the ready-made manager tomorrow.
Well,
maybe
Maresca's the Ranieri.
Maybe Maresca's the Ranieri.
Because
I wouldn't be surprised.
Leicester and Chelsea.
I wouldn't be surprised if next season we see a massive name coming to coach this Chelsea team.
Well,
massive name.
Sacked.
Like mutual agreement or something like that,
Right.
you know, like doesn't get sacked and he gets another opportunity somewhere and they get a big name.
Finished in the league to get sacked.
Like, I think the problem is, hear me out. This is kind of very strange. If he finishes 6th or 5th, they won't sack him because that means the team is not ready for the big name to come in and win the league.
Right, okay.
But if you finish 4th or 3rd, he achieved the target. So what is your reasoning to getting rid of him other than maybe, you know what, maybe I want the better girl. Maybe I'm looking for the better girl, you know? The better girl is available now. Yeah. And I want the better girl. So like, you better like fuck off. You'll find yourself another man.
Yeah.
Because Ranieri was 2nd or 3rd in that season. Like, there's no reason for you as a Chelsea football club
who won final and 2nd.
Yeah, like as a Chelsea football club who won 1 league title, coming 2nd, there was no reason for Ranieri to be. There's no logical reason for Ranieri to be second. You know who did this? Inter did this. Let me tell you a little story before we finish. We were in a banter era, 6 years without Champions League. We tried Mancini, we got De Boer, we got Gasperini, and then we got Spalletti, the guy that won the league with Napoli. He was always an enemy of Inter because he coached Roma back in the days. So he came to Inter, he tried Champions League, failed. Then he tried to go to the Champions League, and I think we went to the Champions League or something. He failed. Once we got the Champions League and we got 4th, and he's like, you achieved. They sacked him and got Antonio Conte. Next season, 2nd season after we won the league. And Antonio Conte came in and they gave him this massive investment. And I think at that time, the board at Inter, and maybe you can link that to Chelsea, were not ready to give that 200. We got Hakimi, Lukaku, Barella, Tensi. You know what I mean? Like, we went and invested, right? I think they weren't willing to give that money to someone like Spalletti. They were
Right.
only willing to give it to sign these experienced players and these players to win the league to someone else.
Yeah.
So maybe the board is waiting for Maresca to like mold this team, like shape him, and then they're like, bang, now we're gonna drop the money and get this experience. The Cucurella says, but
Yeah.
it's not you, Maresca. It is
Man,
someone else that is
They're
more
going to put the
experienced.
ring on the better girl.
Yeah, they're like, we went out, we prepared,
Yeah.
we booked the whole, we got the apartment, everything is ready. Now we're gonna go get the better girl. You know what I
Maybe,
mean?
what? So you're saying he's basically a stepping stone manager? You potentially, yeah, maybe.
Like imagine them going to bring like a winner, like someone that would just come in and like.
Well, that's
fuck
the
it.
thing, isn't it? Is that's what I think probably
Jurgen
happened.
Klopp, you know, they bring Jurgen Klopp. They give him
Imagine,
400 million.
They probably looked at Ranieri and was like, we could stay with Ranieri. He'll probably do okay. He messed up in the semi-final of the Champions League. And then they decided to sack him, I think, probably off the back of that because he like meddled too much, made too many substitutions against Monaco and we lost. I think that might have been 02, 03, actually. I'm trying to remember. But either way, he then... no, that's 02, 03. Hang on, 03, 04. I'm not sure if we did finish second. I think we finished fourth. I'm just trying to work it out. But either way, the outside circumstances affected Ranieri because they obviously saw a manager somewhere else that they like, that's perfect for me. If a manager this season goes into like the spotlight in a different league or wins the Champions League with an outsider team, that might be enough to like sway their eyes to look somewhere else. We did finish second. Is that right? Yeah. What year was the
Imagine
03, 04?
03, 04. Imagine if you like Chelsea like do all this and then they go to Inter and say, here's fucking money, Inzaghi, here is like 12 million a year, come in, win us the league or something. Or they go to Ancelotti and say, Ancelotti, we'll give you the tools, get us far in the Champions League, get us to a semi-final or final of the Champions League. You don't have maybe to win the league, but we want to get places. And you know what I mean? They drop like 300, 400 million budget. They sell something, they find a way, they loan somebody, they do something, and then they're like, Maresca's like, thank you so much for preparing this team. I see this scenario being like kind of crazy. And imagine that if Chelsea get like third or something, and Maresca's like sitting there and they're like, sorry, now we're going to go to a bigger name than you that is ready to win today. You're muted. You're muted.
I said if they replace him with another Italian, I think he would be absolutely livid.
No, but he knows he's not amazing.
True. He does. He must know, sat there, that he went above the level getting the Chelsea job from Leicester. Like he must know that.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine they go and get Ancelotti, they get Rodrigo Tchouameni, who's for sale. You know what I mean? Imagine that. They go and get like Tchouameni, they convince Rudiger to come back, they get Rodrigo, and I'm like, what is going on?
They want it, Mo. I hear what you're saying, right? But I don't think this board want those players. I just don't. I think
maybe we don't know. Maybe they have a plan. You know what I mean? It's on the side. It's on the side. It's not. We're not showing it to you people. You don't know what's cooking. This Maresca guy is just molding the team, shaping them. So next season we'll add 3-4 players that won the Champions League before, and here we go. Let's go.
You are dreaming more than me because I just don't see it. I just think like
I'm very neutral, and I would love to see the situation.
Yeah, but everyone would love to see that.
Like I think even rivals would be like intrigued to see. I bet you that rivals would say, "See, they failed. The board failed." I'm like, no, they didn't. Maybe they were. This was the plan the whole time, and just didn't know about it. And you're not thinking
so good.
It would be amazing, actually, amazing story, you know?
I
imagine Maresca, imagine they get Ancelotti. Imagine that. Imagine they get Ancelotti and Maresca be the assistant coach to Ancelotti to still work with the same team, and Maresca's as assistant coach to Ancelotti. And Ancelotti's getting his players, Maresca sitting by his side. And, you know, like, I think that'll be a dream scenario for even the Chelsea owners.
I think if you spoke to most Chelsea fans, they'd say no to Ancelotti. I wouldn't, but I don't think
Ancelotti would win you the league, though. I don't think Ancelotti would win you the. Oh no, he wouldn't.
He's not like a domestic. He's won a few titles.
He won 6 or 7 league titles in all his career, and he managed. And I'm sorry, freaking the guy managed like greats, one of the best teams like ever, and Milan, he didn't win the league a lot.
Madrid, Chelsea,
Yeah. Yes.
even Bayern
Bayern
and PSG
Munich.
as well.
Yeah, so he managed some of the best teams ever. And
That's still good. To get 6 titles is still really good, but it's not like
No, it's not for the number of years. And
Yeah.
bro, the man got 5 Champions League, 6 league titles. If you get a 5 Champions League, you need to get 20 league titles.
Are you
It
saying, Mo, that he's the best cup manager ever?
He is. Oh yeah, 100%. I don't think there is anyone better than him ever in the Champions League. There's no one better than him. No, not better than Ancelotti. No.
No, and to be fair, Ancelotti has obviously won a lot.
Zidane won it with prime Ronaldo, Bale, Carvajal, Sergio Ramos. Ancelotti even won it with Vini and Benzema and Rodrigo. That's not comparable to Ronaldo,
True.
prime Modric, prime Casemiro. Like, different. You get my point. Zidane had a team that is ready to win. Ancelotti didn't. But listen, guys, this is actually an interesting theory. Like, I just need to. If you go to the stadium and start telling the people, maybe the board will hear this plan.
Traveling,
Yeah, get it around, get the word around, and then
I would happily take Carlo back at the bridge. I know that much.
Yeah,
Carlo back at the bridge and some marquee signings. That would feel a little bit more like the Chelsea that I used to know.
100%. All right. Appreciate you, my man. I'm planting the seed. Yes, Cabbage. Yeah. I am. I'm actually planting the seed.
Everyone clip this up, and if it ever happens, just go back to it. Like Mo started this. Mo is Barley's PR merchant. That's what you're doing here, mate. You're just trying it here. It might work. You never know.
Never know. Anyway, I'll thank you, Dan. Your channel is in the description. Dan's channel is in the description, people. Appreciate the show. I don't think I'm doing any content today. I think on Dan Post's channel with Lee Gunner lately. It's going to be a fight or something like that if I come back. But I will see you guys maybe tomorrow on a couple of shows as well with Hussam and Ashraf and David. And hit that like button, people. Let's get to 150 likes. I will see you guys soon. We're out of here, people. It's very done. Give me 1 second. I need to do something. No, he's still live. Okay. We'll see you guys soon.